Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you tonight to untangle a truth so great it could change the very core of who you are. Fear is a friend we live with. It lurks in the shadow of our aspirations and whispers in the quiet times of our solitude. More than we would want to admit, this power so basic and profoundly rooted in our nature impacts our life. But what if I told you that your best friend, rather than your enemy, is the identical shadow that follows your every step? Though it is a strong enemy, fear is merely that which is so closely related to our survival. Over millennia of development, it has been ingrained in the very fabric of our existence, alerting us of threat and guiding us across risk. However, if we choose to use this basic inclination, it may also be a great weapon. We have to start by accepting fear. We have to face it with an eye toward understanding and mastery rather than with a goal of eradicating it. Imagine yourself poised on the brink of a precipice, the abyss yawning out ahead. The darkness seems to swallow everything while the wind screams. Though your mind whirl and your heart races, this is where actual power resides. Facing the abyss helps you to recognize the depth of your anxiety and free it of influence. The abyss is to be understood, not feared. You have to first separate fear if you want to harness it. Fear is a complicated tapestry spun from many strands of anxiety, uncertainty, and vulnerability. It is not a monolithic concept. Every anxiety you go through stems from something deeper, something personal. Could be a fear of the unknown, rejection, or failing. Analyzing these worries helps you to find their causes and, so, take control over them. See fear as a signal rather than as an opponent. It shows you where your comfort zone's margins fall. Calls attention to your shortcomings and fears. Confronting these worries head-on will help you to see your own restrictions and start to push past them. When broken down, fear shows the places you might develop more strength. One amazing power of fear is inspiration for our imagination. When we let ourselves really feel afraid, our imaginations become a canvas on which we paint our most intense worries and worst possibilities. Still, this same ability might help one see a vision of prosperity and strength. Using the energy of your worries will help you to mold them into a motivating factor for success. See your fear as a wellspring of unprocessed, unrealized vitality. Focus this energy on your objectives and aspirations. When you let fear inspire your imagination, you can design situations in which you go beyond formerly seeming insurmountable challenges. This change of viewpoint turns fear from a paralyzing agent into a spur for activity and success. Unchecked, fear can be disruptive and damaging. But under discipline, it becomes a tool of unmatched strength. You have to become able to control and direct fear if you want to master it. This calls for extreme mental discipline and a readiness to face unpleasantness. To control anxiety, practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Retrain your emotional reactions by use of meditation and imagination. The aim is to use anxiety without allowing it to control you. Developing this discipline helps you to make sure that fear transforms from a tool used under control to one that benefits you. One amazing motivator is fear. When used properly, it helps you to surpass your limitations and accomplish goals that would otherwise seem impossible. The secret is to turn anxiety from a paralysis-inducing agent into a motivating springboard. Create difficult tasks that inspire your anxiety. Leverage this dread to drive you ahead, therefore sustaining your will and attention. Let your anxiety remind you of the stakes and the significance of your quest. Let it propel you to think more wisely, work harder, and act more forcefully. Fear is a natural friend in leadership. Those who deny or ignore their anxieties are often the ones that stumble under trying circumstances. Real leaders welcome their anxieties and use them to motivate and mentor people under their direction. As a leader, you have to first admit your weaknesses before you can harness fear. Share your worries with your staff so they may see you as a human and flawed person. Leverage your anxiety to build cooperation and confidence. Your team will be motivated to face their own anxieties and use them to propel development when they see that you are doing just that. Resilience, that is, our capacity to recover from difficulty, is closely related to our attitude to fear. You have to grow resilient, that is, able to resist and bounce back from the challenges fear presents, if you are to properly harness fear. Create resilience by challenging yourself in little, doable steps outside your comfort zone. Every time you conquer a fear, you develop your capacity to meet next obstacles. This combined impact creates a resilient basis that helps one to overcome anxiety and find it more controllable. Although using fear can be a useful tool, one should approach it with ethical considerations. Though these techniques are finally destructive, fear can be utilized to influence and dominate. True power comes from harnessing fear in a way that respects and elevates people, not from abusing their worries for personal benefit. Use your fear with integrity. Rather than use it to control or dominate, inspire and motivate with it. When fear is used properly, it transforms from a tool of oppression to a tool for good. When channeled, fear can be the pillar of a legacy. Masters of fear leave behind a legacy of inspiration, fortitude, and tenacity. Turning your worries into a motivating factor for excellence helps you to write a story that goes beyond your own life and inspires next generations. Think about how terrified one could see your behaviors and successes. Allow your path of conquering anxiety to be evidence of your fortitude and will. You create a legacy that lasts by turning fear into a tool for power and success. Ultimately, your determination to face and conquer your anxieties will prove to be more difficult than the actual obstacles. Fear is a mirror revealing your most inner conflicts and doubts. You have to be ready to investigate that mirror and face the reality it shows if you are to harness it. Accept your uncertainties since they are strong forces. Use them to motivate you, forward you, and create a path of power and success. Though the road is difficult and full of obstacles, the benefits are very great. Look down into the abyss from the edge of your anxieties. Accept the shadow and let it drive your ascent. Control fear and turn it into an almost unmatched force. You possess the ability to ascend the abyss. It is just waiting. Many thanks.